Welcome to Passport Required. I'm Kim Covert, owner and lead travel designer at Silverleaf Travel.
And I'm Gary Covert. Together, we are on a mission to help experienced travelers and would-be travelers get even more informed, inspired, and get moving so that they can enjoy great travel experiences and make memories that will last.
We believe that travel offers so many opportunities to improve the quality of our lives. Travel helps us learn more about the world, ourselves, and those closest to us. It keeps us vibrant, fresh, and connected, and travel helps us celebrate life.
We invite you to join the Silverleaf Travel Facebook page so that we can amplify our impact and help people get off of and stay off of what we'd like to call Someday Island.
We know you're going to love this episode, so let's get after it. This was a great episode to record with Gary. I had a lot of fun. I had just come off of 3 river cruises in 3 months. No, I did not plan it that way. It was a happy accident, and it was a great way to experience the different river cruise lines firsthand. So I can better assist my clients. So when they come to me with their needs and wants, I can match them with the correct river cruise line so that they have an amazing experience. Because as you know, I love river cruises. I love cruises in general. But this is just a recap of my personal opinion of the cruises I had just been on and in past sailings that I've done. So kind of comparing the higher level premium lines, the mid-range lines, and then we threw in one entry-level river cruise line. And I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Passport Required. I'm Kim Covert.
And I'm Gary Covert.
I'm very excited about today's episode.
Yes, me too.
Yes. So we're here to help the listeners dissect and be informed. So this is just a little nugget that we thought we'd put together for you. We just came off of a river cruise. It was my 3rd in 3 months. Mm-hmm. So we thought we'd recap everything in general, comparing basically 4 river cruise lines because we've been on AMA Waterways before. So comparing AMA Waterways with Avalon Waterways and Tauk and Riverside Luxury Cruises. Mm-hmm. Because Tauk and Riverside are kind of the premium levels. And then AMA and Avalon are that mid-range level when you're talking about price point and amenities. So we just thought we'd compare.
And again, this is a compare and contrast for river cruises, European river cruises, and an opportunity for you to kind of connect the dots after you've been a travel machine for the last 3 months. 3 separate trips to Europe, back to back, month to month.
Yeah.
And I went with you on one. But anyway, you have a lot more data points. And I think it'd just be very valuable. And we thought it would be very valuable to share with everyone kind of your thoughts. What's the difference? Because that's one of the most common questions we get is what's the difference between all these? So I think kind of laying them out, you have Riverside and Tauk in one category, Avalon and AMA in another. And then just to note it, we won't talk about it in any detail today, but there's Viking out there just to compare it to the other 2 categories we're thinking of, Viking just being a lead-in level. And then let's look at these different criteria then. Let's look at food, service, value, accommodations, excursions, aesthetics, and then any other amenities.
Sure.
Fair
Sounds
enough?
great. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get started with the food then.
Our favorite subject.
I love it. It is one of my favorite subjects and near and dear to people's hearts because, the stomach is the road to the heart. Isn't that what they say?
True.
Yeah.
At least to a man's heart.
Yeah. This man's heart. Okay. So what's your thoughts about food compared to these different cruise lines?
And in no way am I saying one cruise line is bad. Mm-hmm. It's just different, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I sailed Tauk and then Riverside Luxury Cruises back to back, which was nice because they're the 2 upper premium lines. I would say by far Riverside blew it out of the park. Everybody was commenting how wonderful the food is, better than any ocean cruise line, river cruise line that we've all been on. It was far superior than anything we ever had. It was amazing food. And the owners say they spend 3 times the amount of money per person for food. And it shows 100%.
Yeah. My experience was that didn't resemble what I think of as cruise food.
Exactly.
It just felt like it was a restaurant. We're at a restaurant that had a stellar view of the Rhone River.
Like a 5-star restaurant. And then between like AMA and Avalon, I think Alma Waterways has slightly better food. And also they have the chef's table, which is a second dining venue on board, where Avalon just has the main dining room. With that, I think Alma has just better food.
Yeah. I did remember that Alma has a very nice kind of casual menu that we ordered off of one time.
In the lounge?
Yeah, in the lounge. We just couldn't take another sit-down lunch. And we had really nice pizza or something.
Avalon does something similar to that too in their lounge. But yeah, I just thought the food on Alma was much better.
Excellent. So food, let's talk about service then. Are there any differences in terms of the service experience between these 4 different lines?
I would say between Tauck and Riverside, I would give it to Tauck only because I think Riverside is still trying to get their legs underneath them. They just started last year in 2023. I think they're doing a great job, but I could tell they were still training and it was still fresh and new. And we did have one of the first sailings of the season. So I think they're just trying to get their legs under them again, you know? So I think they did a wonderful job. Not that they did a terrible job, but comparing to Tauck just went over and beyond. The service was crazy good. They pivoted when they needed a pivot. They were creative. They were thoughtful. For instance, like we would go into certain towns that were known for a certain pastry. And the Tauck director that was with us on the excursion would go and buy 60 of said pastry and hand them out to everybody in all the tours. And it was just a nice touch. You know, it was really, and then our private dinner in the castle was really spectacular. It was very private, was very exclusive, things like that. Riverside did something similar to that, but not that level.
Any difference between service for Avalon and Alma?
Again, I'm going to go with Alma. Sorry.
Hey.
Not that Avalon was terrible. I feel that Alma's service just was spot on. And their cruise directors are amazing. Their staff is every staff is amazing. So not that Avalon's terrible. It was a little lackluster. I don't know what the feeling was different. Yeah.
Okay. And then the next category would be value. And you mentioned kind of inclusiveness. So there's some cruise lines you get on and you feel like you're paying for new things every time.
Nickel and dime.
Yeah. So can you address any differences related to value for these different lines?
Yes. Different cruise lines offer different amenities, meaning are the shore excursions included? Is the alcohol included? Is the crew gratuities on board included? So as you get to the higher upper premium levels like Tauck and Riverside, there's where you have more inclusivity. So yes, it's a higher price point, but you get such a bigger value because everything's included. Riverside has a different price point. They have like 4 different options. So if you don't want that all inclusivity, like you're not a big drinker or you don't want to do excursions, you can remove that and the price comes down. Tauck, just the value of it, everything is included. You can show up basically with your wallet in the safe and never have to pay for anything, really, if you don't want to. But then when you go to like the mid-range with Alma and Avalon, so most of the excursions on Avalon will be included. There are still some that you have to pay for. Alma Waterways, all your excursions are included. Both have beer and wine with lunch and dinner. Both do a cocktail hour. So really no difference there for alcohol. But when you get, Tauck and Riverside is all inclusive if you go for the inclusive package with Riverside. That's kind of the differences between them. And I'll just throw Viking in. Viking is 1 excursion per port. No crew gratuities.
They had alcohol. Yeah, wine and beer with dinners and whatnot.
But you can buy a beverage package with Viking. Very entry level. It's just very bare bones. And then you can add a beverage package to it.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Viking has a lot of air promotions and things, but there's a lot of rules with those. So, yeah.
Asterisks.
Yes.
Yeah. One of our contractor friends, his slogan is with quality, when you pay, you only cry once.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of the opinion that I'd rather just kind of get it over with. But some people do like to kind of dial in. They just, for example, they know that they're not going to drink. So it's totally wasted on them to have anything. Or
they don't want to be nickel and dime. So go for a Tauck or a Riverside. Going back to the value as well, as an example, I just had a client come to me with an Alma Waterways itinerary that they loved. and they wanted the suite.
Mhm.
And we priced it out, and I had a price, and I said, I wonder what Talc would offer for the same itinerary, same length. And they have great size suites too, almost similar size. And it was the same price on Talc, but you got so much more with Talc because the tips are included, the drinks are included, everything is included. So the value is better.
Yeah.
For that instance.
Yeah. So it's worth looking at your options. And I think that's one of the benefits of people being aware of these different lines is that there's a lot out there. I mean, Viking, bless their hearts, advertises more than anybody.
Thank you.
And I thank you, Viking, for doing that. But, it's good to know that there's other things out there. So that brings us neatly along to accommodations, unless you had any other things you want to mention about value. So accommodations would be like the size of the rooms and the room categories and things like that. We will be talking about like single size ships or the single versus single width.
Yeah. Because Riverside and Alma Waterways have a double wide ship. Oh, wait, you can't call them double wide.
They wanted
double width?
Double width? That still sounds like a trailer, doesn't it? There's another word that will come to us later that is not double wide.
Is this offensive to her?
Yes. But anyway,
twice as wide.
That's wide.
One. Twice as wide, I guess.
So we're just talking about the normal width, which is still large.
True.
For a river cruise ship. So we're talking about accommodations. So what's your opinion of the accommodations versus these different categories?
Okay. For Riverside compared to Talc, what I would say is Riverside has the market really on any cruise line for the single wide ships having the larger suites. We had another couple sailing with us, and they had the suite that was 600 square feet, something like that. And it had a living room with an electric fireplace. And then you walk down, had a bedroom, a separate bathroom, huge walk-in closet. It was truly a sweet suite.
Yeah. And they even have an option to add on another adjacent room that had a door if they really wanted to spend more.
Yeah. So
it could have been even bigger.
You can have a 2-bedroom suite. So if it's a family or 2 couples want to share and have the living room in the middle, you can make it a 2-bedroom suite. And that's like 810 square feet or something like that. You just don't get those on the other river cruise lines. Talc's largest is 300 square feet, which is what we sailed in March. So I would say Riverside has the market on the larger suites, and just the appointment of them, I think we're very comparable. Like if you compare the similar size ones together, Talc was very, very comfortable. They had great closet space. Their bathrooms are big, double vanities in most of the cabins, walk-in shower, beautiful. Riverside's very similar. Riverside on their single wide ships do not have what they call those swan view rooms. So they don't have any of those lower level.
Yeah, water level views.
Yeah.
You're looking out a porthole and you can see a swan's butt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't have that on Riverside. They do have them on their twice as wide ship, but they're different than what you imagine. Anyway, so that's what they have as well going for them. But Talc, was beautiful. Between Alma and Avalon, it depends on the category. Some are bigger than the others. What Avalon has different is in most of their cabins, the bed faces the window. So your feet are kind of pointing towards the window, which I didn't think was really all that important until I sailed on it. And then I thought, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. Yeah.
And they're all French balconies, where Alma Waterways is a traditional bed, not facing the window. And they have a lot of twin balcony cabins. So you have both the walkout balcony where you can sit or stand, and the French balcony where you can just open the window and look out. So that kind of takes away a little bit of the space of the room because it is a true balcony on part of the room. But both really, really comfortable, well appointed, good storage, good bathrooms.
Yeah, I think that would be a point of differentiation or style or preference. Preference is the right word for some people. Some people would like the idea of being able to sit on a balcony. Other people would like to have that space and just say, don't worry about it. I could just go upstairs if I.
Well, the window's open. That's what's so nice on the French balconies. You could be sitting in your cabin and open the window. So if the weather is not that great, you're not freezing out there. I don't see a lot of people sitting out on their balconies
Mhm.
for those ships that have the balconies, like the Viking ships and AMA Waterways. So there's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Just it depends on your preference. Do you really want a balcony to be able to sit out there? I'm not sure.
Right.
So
Right. I think a lot of people, given the size of the cabins already, would probably prefer to have that within their own living space.
have
But
it cabin space. So
yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about excursions. So, is there a difference between excursions for any of these different tiers or categories?
the difference between AMA Waterways and Avalon Waterways is Avalon doesn't include all the excursions in a day. So they may include 1 or 2, and then they might offer another 2 for the day that cost extra. So they're not per se all included, where AMA Waterways, they're all included.
Yeah, everything they offer, just pick one.
Exactly. Yeah. And AMA Waterways may, on certain sailings, offer an additional, like, optional excursion once you're on board. They might come to a city and say, hey, we have tickets to the opera. Anybody want to go? And that will be extra. Or a private dinner in someone's home or something like that. Avalon obviously offers these excursions at an extra cost already. That's the difference between the two. And then with Riverside and Tauk, I'm talking Riverside if you do the all-inclusive package. Both did really, really good with their excursions. Again, I think I touched on it earlier. I think Tauk did just a little bit better. I think Riverside's still getting their legs under them.
Yep.
They weren't terrible. I thought Tauk just did a really good job of anticipating our needs, making it extra special. You felt like it was worth the money that you spent for that cruise.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I wouldn't even use the word terrible within a country mile of those. But on the flip side, I really thought that they were good.
On the Riverside.
On the Riverside that I personally experienced, I thought that they were all very, very good. But I get your point that they maybe missed a couple small points.
Yeah. You're paying for a little bit of luxury, and you felt it with Tauk. And I'm sure Riverside will get there.
Yeah.
But like Tauk had brand new buses. And of course they brand their buses, and the buses follow the ship. And they smelled that, new car smell and things like that. And they had water on board and a refill station on board. I don't know. It just felt a step above what you would get with other cruise lines. And Riverside was great too. Of course, they had coaches that they had rented. Again, they may get there at some point, but it felt more luxurious on Tauk. And AMA Waterways and Avalon Waterways, they both do phenomenal jobs on their excursions. Avalon is owned by Globus, which is a land tour operator, and they do a really good job on land. So you have that. And AMA Waterways just really puts a lot of effort into their excursions, and they're just lovely.
Okay. So we've covered a number of points here, and we just have a couple others. So overall aesthetic, and this will just vary person to person, but do you feel like that there was a difference in aesthetic between these different tiers?
Yeah, and I think this is a little bit of a personal opinion, because I've been on another cruise line where it was like black and brass, and black lacquer and brass or something, and I felt like 1980s called, and they wanted their brass back. I don't know. It just for me personally, I thought Riverside's ships were just stunning. I felt they were very current and luxurious, and the colors and just everything was so beautiful and fresh and new, clean. And, they're fairly new ships. I just thought it was just really, really beautiful. And Tauk ships are beautiful too, to their credit. It's just in a different way. And aesthetically, I thought Riverside was more beautiful personally. Tauk's great too. Crystal chandeliers, you get the nice touch points there.
It felt luxurious.
Yes. And I heard that every off season for Tauk, they do a total refresh of carpets and bedding and everything. So you can tell everything's fresh and new. We were, again, in the beginning of the season, so it was really nice. Between AMA and Avalon, that's a hard one because they're very similar. They're very similar. I would say I like Avalon, at least the ship we were on. In the entryway, it had like a little shop, and you had the front desk. It just felt a little bit more open, I think. I think with AMA Waterways having the second restaurant
Mm-hmm.
kind of helps too. And it's a really pretty spot. Yeah, I don't know. I think Amma and Avalon are just really neck and neck for me aesthetically.
Okay. So all beautiful, but yeah, some people might like one's better than others.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about amenities and if you saw any difference between the different ones. And amenities could include, like one that just occurred to me was like laundry or laundry service, or maybe like dining rooms or things like that.
On Riverside, the upper suite categories had unlimited laundry, which is nice. Tauk does not.
Mm-hmm.
Riverside had a self-service laundry area, which was different.
Very functional and super easy to use. It was right beside the gym.
Yeah.
It worked out great.
You can work out and wait for your laundry to dry. That's unusual to have a laundry area. Amma and Avalon, yeah, you have to send it out, for laundry. They're all very similar in that aspect. So for like spas, even the spa with Riverside, our friend had a spa appointment, loved it, and it was beautiful. It looks just like if you were in a 5-star hotel and you go into a massage room. Tauk, I think, kind of missed the mark on that, and I gave them this feedback after the sailing that I got a massage there on Tauk, and the woman used all these scratchy towels to cover me and put your face on, and I couldn't breathe through it. And it's just different than using sheets.
Okay.
That was that one touch point where you're kind of on a luxury line. That would have been nice. But like the room decor and the beddings and everything, both very similar between Riverside and Tauk. Same thing with Amma and Avalon. Really very comparable.
Yeah. And when I think about amenities would be like including like bikes and then maybe like a special dining room or things like that.
Yes.
I think they've all got bikes. Is that right?
They do. Amma Waterways has just regular bikes. They don't offer the e-bikes, where Avalon has both. Riverside had both. Tauk, I don't remember if they had both, but I know they have e-bikes. If you really want an e-bike,
yeah,
Amma doesn't have them.
I'm a quick convert. I've only been on one once, but I'm like 100% in. Oh, those are nice. Especially when you're on vacation, you don't want to work that hard.
Obviously, we've talked about it. Amma Waterways has the 2 dining spots. So does Tauk. They have 2. There's a restaurant in the back that's more casual, and then their main dining room. And that, again, this is the single wide ships. And then just other amenities like pre-cruise or post-cruise, slightly different. Right now, since Riverside is so new, they're not offering any like pre or post land packages or flights or any of that. They're getting there. They will. Tauk offers pre-post transfers. You could get flights through them, which are really affordable, things like that. Amma and Avalon both offer pre and post land packages. Just depends on the itinerary. And you can get flights through either one of them. Again, sometimes can be more affordable than going directly with the airlines. And I'll just touch on Viking. Yes, Viking, on all the promotions you see, it's like free air or almost free air. So yes, they do offer a lot of that. It comes with a lot of rules and asterisks. So there's a lot of rules to it. And some of the other cruise lines, like Amma Waterways, will sometimes run a air promotion, is what we call it. And it's just, there's caveats. Like you have to land the day the cruise leaves and leave the day the cruise ends. Things like that. It doesn't really work if you want to stay longer.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people do. I mean, typical cruise might be 7 to 14 days. If you're going to Europe, you probably want to spend a little bit more time.
And with Riverside, if you take the upper suites, you can get a limo pickup from the airport. Things like that. That's kind of nice.
Very nice. Yeah. Always nice to be treated well.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, does Kim have a pick or a preference with all those different factors, or any words of advice? Maybe that's as a words of advice for people, what the best ones are. Do we even want to go there?
The best ones, it's just, there is someone for every river cruise line. Obviously, these ships are full.
Yeah.
And even with my clients, they'll come to me with their needs and wants, and I got to match the right river cruise line with the client. That's why I'm on these ships, to experience it myself. So it's really hard. It's like picking your favorite child. So I think just...
Which means it can be done.
I really can't choose my favorite cruise line because they're good in their own unique way. Obviously, I like the more premium all-inclusive cruise lines because I like an all-inclusive type of vacation.
Yes.
I don't want to be nickel and dimed. I don't want to be asked every day for tips and drinks and all that. I just don't want to think about it.
And
I just want
you're
to
eyeballing me. You're like, you're saying,
different.
Yeah, you're like, and I know him. Anything that they ask him, do you want to? He's gonna no,
nope.
Yeah. So I only want to make one harsh vacation choice.
Yeah, and then you know what you're spending for the week, pretty much. I tip a little extra on top of everything, but I didn't worry about, oh, that drink went cold and I got to order another one. Well, that'll be another $10. And drinks on these ships are not very expensive. It's very different than ocean cruising. Ocean cruising, the drinks can get really expensive. The drinks on river cruise ships are very affordable. They could be like $5, $6. I'm going to go in euros. €6, for a beer or a glass of wine, or €8, or maybe €10 for a nice glass of champagne. I mean, it's really, really affordable. So not like you're going to be spending a huge amount of money.
Yes.
But for me, I order with my wallet. So if it's €10, I probably won't do it. Cheap. But it was really nice with Tauk and Riverside. I don't have to worry about any of that. It was all just taken care of.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope that is helpful to people. That is, like I said, one of the key questions that we get asked when we talk to people about our experience about river cruises. They say, what's the best, and is Viking the best? And, at least they know that one. And what I'd like for people to take away is that there's lots of different options out there. And, there's different rivers you can take. There's different river cruise lines you can take. You're going to have a great experience on all of them, any of them, but there are differences. And just like you would think about, the different grade of hotel that you would like to stay in, it's the same kind of decision.
Yeah, it's what's the best for you in general. So.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you for giving us
my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents. And thank you for actually, going and finding out all that information. I mean, you really did a lot of homework. And
experiencing the different rivers too. I mean, this was new sailing on the Rhone, and I did it twice.
Right.
So I could compare two sailings with the same itinerary. So basically.
Yeah. You've got a plethora of information now that you can share with folks. So excellent.
And many more to come.
Yeah.
We want to do the Seine. We want to do the Douro.
Yes.
There's the Nile. There's Colombia. There's
right.
Many.
Several more in Europe for sure. We want to do the Danube.
The lower Danube.
The lower Danube downstream of Budapest. We definitely want to do that. There's a lot to do in Europe for sure. I want to knock those out and experience those, and then get on to other places. And also Africa. There's some rivers that flow by elephants.
Yes, Ama Waterways. This is the one on Ama Waterways I really, really want to do. It's part
safari.
It's part safari, part river cruise.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 or 4 days on a small river cruise that just sails by elephants and animals. And I'm like, that sounds so amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing that someday.
Anyway, I hope that people get the idea from us that river cruising is a phenomenal idea and a phenomenal choice for them. And there are differences, and then the royal Kim can certainly help you figure out what those differences are.
And there are other cruise lines. Obviously, we're not saying these other ones like Uniworld are terrible. I've just not experienced them yet. I've sold them. I just haven't personally experienced it to compare.
Exactly.
So, it's on the list.
Very good. All right. Any final words?
No, just river cruising is a wonderful, relaxing, but fun way to travel. And I really love doing it.
I love it too. So next time you find one, give me a call, would you?
I will. I think I have a few next year. So we have a group next year in Bordeaux.
Yes.
We're doing with Alma Waterways.
Yes.
And a winery called Artiste Winery.
Yes.
In Four Friends Inn.
Yes.
A bed and breakfast in the area is doing a group on the sailing in April of 25. So
yes,
I'm really excited to experience Bordeaux.
Yeah. And we have a whole other episode where we interviewed
Bayan
and Dave. Yeah. Two fantastic guys. That was a really great interview with them. I loved hearing from them their passion for wine and hospitality and their experience with cruise line. So yeah, I'm excited to see them in Bordeaux, and it's ticking down. We'll be there before we know
I
it.
know. And there's still space on it. So if you're interested, give me a call because it's going to be a great time. We have 30, 40 people now already and growing.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we may be doing possibly a group on Riverside's twice as wide ship, the Mozart, maybe Lower Danube. We can maybe do that, or maybe it has to be only on the Danube because that's the only river that can sail. Yeah, the twice as wides can only be on the Danube.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Looking forward. This compare and contrast between and I'm using the wrong word, the single
it's okay
width a ship versus these double size ships. Yeah.
The double sizes are beautiful. I saw the Mozart last year at the River Cruise Expo in Budapest. It's neat because there are additional dining options, hangout options, bar. Yeah. You don't necessarily have twice as many people on board because they take the space for the general space versus the bedrooms. I mean, yes, there are going to be a few more people on board, but it's just very comfortable.
Yeah, they're double the size, but they're not double the passengers.
Correct.
I think they only increase them by a couple tens of %.
Yeah, not much. So, I'm looking forward to that. Of course, then the River Cruise Expo in March, it's going to be in Vienna. So here I go again next year, probably doing March, April, and May on 3 different.
I love it. You go, Kim. You go, Kim. You just keep on traveling.
Okay. What you're really saying is, I'm happy you're leaving. I'm just kidding.
So what I really am saying is, get your passport
and let's go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We had a great time talking about river cruises, as always. And if you ever want help planning and booking a river cruise or any cruise in general, please reach out to me, Kim@silverleaftravel.com, or my website is www.silverleaftravel.com. There's a lot of information on my website. I even have information about an Ama Waterways group I am doing in April of 2025, and there's still space, and we have a lot of people going. It's going to be great. It's with Artiste Winery and 4 Friends Inn Bed and Breakfast. And if you book through me, you receive a discount off the public price. So grab your passport and let's go. Thanks for listening to Passport Required. Please be sure and join the Silverleaf Travel Facebook page so that we can connect with you. It is also a great place to share your own travel tips, experiences, and wisdom with the Silverleaf Travel community.
If you got something out of this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and also give us a rating and review. We always want to get better, and we will read all of your comments and suggestions for topics so that we can make this podcast the best resource possible. My name is Gary Covert.
And I'm Kim Covert. Thanks for listening, and thank you for being a part of the Silverleaf Travel community.